In the heart of Iași, Romania, the world's top gamers have gathered for the ultimate showdown. IESF brings heart-stopping matches across a variety of gaming genres in an electrifying experience that celebrates the passion and dedication of esports athletes from around the globe. This is more than just a tournament. This is where champions are born, legends are made, and anything is possible. Get ready to witness the ultimate display of skill, strategy, and heart. The IESF World Esports Championship. It's about to take your breath away.
Do you think you've got what it takes? The challenge will be tougher than ever. In 2023, International Esports has a new home. Over 100 nations fighting for the championship in a celebration of everything that makes esports great. Who will rise up to the challenge? Who will be the world champion?
In the heart of Iași, Romania, the world's top gamers have gathered for the ultimate showdown. IESF brings heart-stopping matches across a variety of gaming genres in an electrifying experience that celebrates the passion and dedication of esports athletes from around the globe. This is more than just a tournament. This is where champions are born, legends are made, and anything is possible. Get ready to witness the ultimate display of skill, strategy, and heart. The IESF World Esports Championship. It's about to take your breath away.
Do you think you've got what it takes? The challenge will be tougher than ever. In 2023, International Esports has a new home. Over 100 nations fighting for the championship in a celebration of everything that makes esports great. Who will rise up to the challenge? Who will be the world champion?
In the heart of Iași, Romania, the world's top gamers have gathered for the ultimate showdown. IESF brings heart-stopping matches across a variety of gaming genres in an electrifying experience that celebrates the passion and dedication of esports athletes from around the globe. This is more than just a tournament. This is where champions are born, legends are made, and anything is possible. Get ready to witness the ultimate display of skill, strategy, and heart. The IESF World Esports Championship. It's about to take your breath away.
Do you think you've got what it takes? The challenge will be tougher than ever. In 2023, International Esports has a new home. Over 100 nations fighting for the championship in a celebration of everything that makes esports great. Who will rise up to the challenge? Who will be the world champion?
In the heart of Iași, Romania, the world's top gamers have gathered for the ultimate showdown. IESF brings heart-stopping matches across a variety of gaming genres in an electrifying experience that celebrates the passion and dedication of esports athletes from around the globe. This is more than just a tournament. This is where champions are born, legends are made, and anything is possible. Get ready to witness the ultimate display of skill, strategy, and heart. The IESF World Esports Championship. It's about to take your breath away.
Do you think you've got what it takes? The challenge will be tougher than ever. In 2023, International Esports has a new home. Over 100 nations fighting for the championship in a celebration of everything that makes esports great. Who will rise up to the challenge? Who will be the world champion?
In the heart of Iași, Romania, the world's top gamers have gathered for the ultimate showdown. IESF brings heart-stopping matches across a variety of gaming genres in an electrifying experience that celebrates the passion and dedication of esports athletes from around the globe. This is more than just a tournament. This is where champions are born, legends are made, and anything is possible. Get ready to witness the ultimate display of skill, strategy, and heart. The IESF World Esports Championship. It's about to take your breath away.
Do you think you've got what it takes? The challenge will be tougher than ever. In 2023, International Esports has a new home. Over 100 nations fighting for the championship in a celebration of everything that makes esports great. Who will rise up to the challenge? Who will be the world champion?
In the heart of Iași, Romania, the world's top gamers have gathered for the ultimate showdown. IESF brings heart-stopping matches across a variety of gaming genres in an electrifying experience that celebrates the passion and dedication of esports athletes from around the globe. This is more than just a tournament. This is where champions are born, legends are made, and anything is possible. Get ready to witness the ultimate display of skill, strategy, and heart. The IESF World Esports Championship. It's about to take your breath away.
Do you think you've got what it takes? The challenge will be tougher than ever. In 2023, International Esports has a new home. Over 100 nations fighting for the championship in a celebration of everything that makes esports great. Who will rise up to the challenge? Who will be the world champion?
Welcome back, everybody, to the IESF Asian Championship. Today is the final day. Today are the final teams that are going to qualify from the Asia Pacific region to see who's going to make it to that global stage. Waldada here, joined by none other than Sophie Bedir, whose last name I am still terrible at pronouncing.
And that's totally alright. I don't expect anyone not from the Scandinavian region to have any idea how to say it, so no worries. We in Denmark, I think we're very good at putting letters, just not pronounce them. So we throw people off every time, I think. So you're excused, I think.
Oh, thank you. Well, the teams today, they're not going to be excused if they drop the ball, though, because it is the final chance for either of these teams to qualify. So we've got two qualifiers today. We've got the Central Asian ones, and we've got the qualifiers from the Oceanic regions. So first up, we're going to be covering the Oceanic game. Of course, it's going to be Australia versus New Zealand, and then we're going to have Kyrgyzstan versus Kazakhstan. Sorry, both best of threes and two very exciting matchups. So any initial thoughts here, Sophie?
Well, I think it's going to be two good games. I'm really excited to see what it will bring to the table, especially since we've talked a lot about like the Asian scene not being like that expanded and not known about, and then we have Oceania, which I would say is even smaller and more unknown, even though they sometimes get some big tournaments down there in Melbourne, I know, but we not really see that many players from there reaching the top. So I'm really excited to see what both Australia and New Zealand will bring to the table today.
Yeah, now, of course, we do get a chance to quickly talk about the roster. So Australia, they're actually a team that have qualified from the Australian qualifier, right? So that was quite hotly contested. And these are some players that have had a lot of tenure, you know. I know that three of these players have been, they're relatively older players, and they have competed in quite a few teams. So right now, you know, Coney and Artemis, I believe, they're both in Carnage.fe. Now, I'm not too sure about the likes of Chicken Loaf and Evelyn, because they don't have a whole lot of information about them, but the fact that they've made it through the Australian qualifier, of course, is a testament to sort of their ability. Now, of course, I think people do understand that there are often fewer opportunities for the female scene, and just especially in smaller regions like this one. So you can kind of understand why even if there is talent, it would largely be left unexposed until there is a big opportunity like this one. On the other hand, this is where I'm a little bit worried, you know. When we casted that game yesterday, Sri Lanka versus India, we sort of theorized about how Sri Lanka, you know, they haven't really had too many opportunities, and they're probably not going to be too well practiced and all that. And I think that might be the same case here. Keep in mind, New Zealand wasn't sort of populated enough with female players, and New Zealand doesn't necessarily have enough players to warrant having a qualifier, right? So a lot of the times the local governing bodies of their esports federations respectively, they basically select players based on just their rankings, right? Or based on just the sort of the community understanding that people have of who the best 5 players are, right? And I think New Zealand, that's sort of how their team has come about. And that's probably why I'm not really expecting them to have the same caliber of practice as Australia. That being said, I wouldn't be too surprised if these two sets of teams are teams that have actually gone up against each other before, you know, in scrimmages and matches, because, I mean, if you're in the Oceanic region, you're just playing against each other, right? Like, I would not be surprised.
Yeah, and just the whole thing you're saying that it might just have been a communal understanding about, well, if we want to participate in this, we just have to look inwards and say who would be the best 5 players to choose from, and then just go with that. And that could mean, as well as you said, they might not have been practicing so much. And then again, we talk about the region being smaller. So who are they actually practicing against? We actually have a veto ready. We don't get Anubis again, kind of sad. We get Mirage, that we made our minds clear on that yesterday. But we get Ancient. That's the first for me during this tournament. So I am happy to see that. And then an overpass as a decider. Hopefully, would be if we go to a third map, it would be more equal than the overpass we saw yesterday, because it still hurts a bit in my gut, I have to say.
It definitely feels like that, right? I know we casted Anubis yesterday, but it didn't actually feel like we casted much. It kind of just felt like we sat through a very, very one-sided game, just sort of like tuning into a matchmaking game where it's heavily one-sided. I mean, I know it sounds harsh, but that is the case. Now, Australia versus New Zealand. One chance at the Oceanic Qualifier for both teams. Getting ready for a B-side pop now. Flashbang and Smoke combo. Smoke towards Market. A couple flashes allow them to move in closer. Soka's able to get the first kill, but Kimbap is still making herself relevant here on the site. Will eventually be put in the graveyard, though, and Kitano comes in to try and clutch this out 1 versus 4. Does have that USP, knows that they've peeked into her angle, but man, she doesn't even have Kevlar, so not going to be easy whatsoever. She's trying to be meticulous with it. Chances looking slim. Just a tough position to be in, especially when they know your spot.
Yeah, Market is not the easiest place to emerge from. Yeah, you have 2 options, so it will be a 50-50, but when there are 3 people alive, they can just hold either angle. Oh, a USP. Thank you very much. and when we... I'm happy that it actually, like, said who chose what map, because... And I know this is just me being a noob at this region, but their flags are very similar. I just gotta say that. So if someone just showed me a picture and asked if it's Australia or New Zealand, I would say I don't know. they look the same. I know there's that one big star in Australia. Like, I know that now, but I will have forgotten it like tomorrow. So. It's a good thing we got it in writing before, so I don't mess that up. But it's gonna be the full save for New Zealand. Just the USPs.
Yeah, obviously we do just expect this to be a throwaway round, right?
Well, shouldn't we expect it to be a round that New Zealand gets like 3 kills because they have pistols?
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of the bar that's been set in these Asian Pacific qualifiers. Like, those pistols have just been so damn good. Okay, there we go. Now we're starting to get up to speed with the rest of the days. Arf got stuck in the murder hole. That's okay. Quickly recovers. I actually really like how they're playing already. I know it's not a whole lot of information to go off the back of, but look at how comfortable they are in playing this more mathematically, because yesterday we saw players actually just throwing themselves at the enemy when they had any sort of little advantage that they could carry on over to the next round. But this time around, they're actually waiting for those exits. They realize they've got the Mac 10, so although it's largely unsuccessful, they're still trying to play the odds, and I really appreciate that. You know, just chip away any damage you possibly can, try to block them out on A ramp, things like that. Those little details go a long way in trying to help out your own economy and potentially destroy the others. So, Australia is starting off pretty strong. They are, I would argue that they are the favorites to win this one out, especially since they sort of had a contest back home to be able to qualify, right? So, there's already quite a bit of prep that's gone into it. Okay, Evelyn.
Yeah, I was gonna say, now we get to see what New Zealand can do because they get the rifles, but when Evelyn's just running and finding kills, then it's gonna be harder. Yeah, she's continuing. Artemis is out making trouble in mid. I think she might have spotted the connected player as well. She has now. And Sarah will end up losing that battle, so it's all on to Haven. Yeah, and what position do you take here? She goes for the reposition towards jungle, but they know where you are. They know if you're not going to be in CT, what way you have gone. So that kind of element of surprise is just hard in these situations. Ooh. Did she get spotted? I think she did. Yeah. And they get her under control as well. Evelyn, she's fired up and ready to do this. I love seeing that.
Yeah, I think Australia are already sort of coming out of the gate swinging, right? Evelyn, with those couple of entry frags, just sort of decided New Zealand's fate right there. At least early in the game. Back to the pistols, though. They've got a couple flashes. They've got a nade. I want to see if they can be creative with it. They're just going to use that flash to coax themselves into a ramp. But that information will be conveyed, which is going to incentivize those B players to quickly try and get a move on, maybe get that bomb down on B early. Soko, in the meantime, just wants to pad those stats nicely. I mean, who doesn't like to see their name on the big board on that MVP? Of course.
I gotta say, and those who say they don't, they're lying.
Are you thinking of the stickers?
I'm just thinking in general. I made that mistake. I thought, yeah, let's open some capsules yesterday, and I'm gonna get all the gold, and I think I got 2 glitter, and then just blue.
I've actually had way better luck with capsules for some reason. Like, I always end up making a profit on capsules. Like, I don't even understand how. Team Australia leading pretty comfortably right now. And with lacking utility on the side of New Zealand, it's going to be hard to try and hold off this onslaught coming on middle. And I like this awareness from Artemis. Quickly realizes that cons pop smoke is going to have a bit of a one-way gap. So she instantly goes for the pre-fire, doesn't even hesitate. Haven, in the meantime, though, does put one in the grave. Chicken loaf will fall, but look at how much space they're starting to get on the A site. This bomb will potentially be on the site soon, and with Soko coming in from jungle, unchecked, she's going to be able to catch Sarah in the back. Now, there's a whole lot of responsibility on Kitana. She's stuck in CT, and she's in a 1 versus 3. Swings out. That was the one window of opportunity. But unfortunately, that window is shut right on her fingers. Like those old Tom and Jerry cartoons. Oh man, I'm dreading the thought of maybe this being the same as like the India versus Sri Lanka match, because that was something.
Hopefully.
I mean, I don't know if I'm dreading it, because like that was still a highlight reel by every stretch of the imagination, but you know, I want to see a tough fight. I want to see some struggle.
And it's gonna be the V hit again, and they know the Vice not gonna be the best. So just taking up the pace, and it was a gamble for New Zealand, stacking towards A, and of course Australia's gonna go for the B hit. What else is to be expected? And this is, yeah, it seems like they're actually gonna just keep the weapons, but they would go for the upgrade next round. So Sarah might be able to find something unless she gets, yeah, pushed by more people. But yeah, for me, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense not just going for, yeah, either trying to take to do the retake or just going for the exit frags, because you're gonna upgrade the weapons either way. They saved roughly 2,000 on anybody, so they could have full buy. So you don't want to use those weapons you invested in for the next round. And the terrorists, they just get more money if the bomb explodes. So just it's better for all parts just dying before, unless the thought was those with the deagle, they could have a rifle and a deagle. But again, that's kind of seems overboard sometimes, unless you have an orb. But that's just my opinion.
I mean, you could cut it many different ways, right? But the fact of the matter is, like, none of that is actually materializing into anything yet. Australia going for that very quick mid-aggression. They've also got a second prong in B apartments, and they've got a third one in Palace, so regardless of where they decide to go, they should be able to have at least one foot through the door. Now that B apartments player is going to come down underpass eventually. And with full mid control, Team Australia, they start to realize that New Zealand is being very passive, so instead of just being able to take the fights, they're going to have to be very careful in how they approach these bomb sites. Kimbop, that passivity is going to pay off, and Artemis will fall. One of the first uncontested advantages for the CT side.
Yeah, and that's the thing. We said it yesterday as well, like the CTs being kind of passive towards mid, but this might have been the right decision, but Chicken Loaf almost gets two. Katana smoked off, so A side is actually kind of open. They are two players in CT, but that smoke is being real tricky. But Sarah side will find the kill onto Evelyn. Advantage is for New Zealand once again. And Kitana will find the bomb.
Well, New Zealand finally able to get something on the board.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was actually quite a comfortable one. Surprisingly enough, Team Australia, they didn't really understand how to make that conversion happen once that passivity kicked in for New Zealand. Kimbop, she comfortably just stayed passive in jungle, and then Australia started to look a little bit disjointed. One of these players goes into jungle, dies, and then there's later connector presence. They're a little unsure of what to do if there's no mid-contest that actually happens. So might be something that New Zealand can take into account, but here it comes. Very quick push onto the A site. Sarah's able to get one, switches over to the Palace player, but even though she's not able to clean up the kill, Kimbop is going to do the dirty work for her. Kitana keeping them at bay with that A1S, and Kimbop, those two kills are going to be very important, but Artemis is still left alive. Coming in from underpass, she's in a 1-on-3, and with the amount of time she has to work with, I wouldn't put it past her to be able to clutch this one out.
Yeah, we saw what Rika could do yesterday.
Oh, that's rough.
Yeah, that's... Now I'm not feeling so confident anymore.
Yeah, just that headshot makes it so much harder to potentially try and get the clutch. At least she's paying attention to detail with the U kill. Kimbop, though, very awkward spot to check. And with only 9 points of health, she's able to still get the job done. So New Zealand's starting to fight back.
Yeah, and we see it's starting to take a kind of a toll on the Australian economy. So take 2 more rounds, and then you're feeling really good if you're New Zealand. Oh, Sarah sides with the good first kill. They're going for the more aggressive. Now, I like that. It's working out as well. So, maybe that's why I like it. If it was a complete fail, I might have said, yeah, that might not be the way to go. But it's working for them. So, That's so great. And yeah, Artemis and Soko don't have for a full buy. So actually now we get that first save from Australia.
Yeah, thankfully, this isn't a situation where that first 5-0, 6-0 happens and then the team just runs away with it. Instead, we're seeing a pretty decent contest already. Australia, their money being strapped does mean that New Zealand is going to have a chance to at least breathe a little bit. Is going to culminate into a B push eventually, though, with just the Eagles. Got a smoke, they've got a flashbang, and this can still be very deadly, so they're going to have to watch out for this cavalry as it starts to move in. There's a player right under them that they're going to have to be careful about, and that short position is not doing any favors, because they can isolate the player on get right. Bomb now starting to go down. 3 for 3, and a couple guns have also been recovered.
Yeah, and I mentioned it yesterday as well. B-side Mirage, hardest map, bomb site to retake. Soko will find the first kill.
Oh no. Oh no, not like this. Not with the pistols.
Yeah, I feel like
Australia,
we see a pattern.
Some madman is just spamming my doorbell right now. I'm not sure if you heard it. Could you hear it on stream?
See, I don't think so. Like, I was worried yesterday that my cat would come in because my cat is very talkative. So I was just thinking, okay, at some point I will just hear like meow meow meow, like total screaming from my cat, and people would think I would be murdering it, and it's just because it.
Yes, because the normal human reaction to listening to a meow is to think of murder. But yes.
Yeah, but it's like a screaming meow, so like it's very aggressive. Because I need to pay attention to it like right away.
Speaking of attention, New Zealand, they don't pay attention to this round. Their economy could start to struggle a little bit. Australia circling back around to A. They've got a player in underpass, one prong on middle 2, which is going to allow them to sort of have an in if they need backup from connector. With the underpass player quickly becoming relevant and taking one out, it's going to make it so much harder for those A-side players to do something. But look at this. They've actually stacked up completely, and they're playing it up close and personal, which means that there's going to be a lot of chaos coming through. Bomb now drop, Chicken Loaf starts to come through from connector, and there's only one man that is directly, or rather one player that is on that site. Unfortunately, cannot immediately respond. Has so many male tournaments, I'm just used to saying one man on the site.
Yeah, I understand.
Hmm.
And again, going for the more aggressive, and of course it's just pistols. I think
Yeah, it should be.
Tony and Artemis are very pleased with the mid push, just getting those stats.
Are Australia just going back to their winning ways now? Was it a fluke? Was it a flash in the pan that New Zealand got a couple rounds? I mean, especially with Australia heading to the CT side soon in like 3 rounds. It's kind of hard to make an argument for New Zealand right now. They're also sort of at the mercy of their economy. They've bought down completely, so if they end up losing this, they're back on $3,400. Not a comfortable start to the series by any means if you're in New Zealand shoes. On the other hand, Australia, they're kind of just coasting by.
Yeah, but after the last timeout New Zealand took, then they started like just winning rounds. So maybe it's time for that again.
Oh, I like
Sarah's
this play
side
from
again.
Sarah. Yeah, very aggressive, and she realizes that she has to do this because there's limited utility and she does not have armor. Kitana, though, unpeaks. Unchecked by Chicken Loaf. And now Sarah needs to watch out for this push. She saw ahead as it was crossing over, but look at where the bombs dropped out in the open. This is going to be a tough one for Australia. Couple of mollies also being tossed out to make it harder for that bomb to recover, but the bench player has to be everything. Unfortunately, Bar falls, which leaves these two players on for the retake, but the bomb has yet to go down yet. Coney quickly to trade out her teammate. And Kimba, coming in from the right side, comes through from short and is able to nail a headshot onto Coney. 9-4 in New Zealand. Man, that looked very dicey, but at least Sarah's able to get the opening kill and put that bomb in an awkward spot.
Yeah, but like the buy Australia is gonna have, like, it's still the best buy they could have, and the util is limited for New Zealand, so once more it's gonna have to be one of those kind of chances. A risky play somewhere, but Coney, she is already so far ahead in mid. And again, like, no one's going for window at the start.
Oh.
That's Sarah, she
Yeah. Oh,
didn't realize
no,
would be hanging
Soko.
around.
Oh, I thought she was in trouble when the AWP was peeking right into her. Just made it look too damn easy. That shot to hit on stairs, too. It's not easy whatsoever. Beautiful
No.
3K.
And the buy now, we got a Bison on Kitana.
Interesting. Not sure what the rationale is behind it, to be honest.
Yeah, it's only good on Vertigo.
Is it?
It actually is.
For spam or what?
But
Or is this a long-running
yeah.
meme that I'm unaware of?
no, this is my level 10 friends that says it's a foolproof strat to have a on T side, to have it as a weapon of choice.
Mm-hmm.
But they are exploding onto B side once more. One thing I just wanted to point out was how much damage was done with that MP9 from underpass. Like, that's insane. But they have to go for the retake, and I'm not sure about Mirage B side Bison retake statistics. I don't think there are much of them. Didn't even get a chance to see if it could do anything. It's going to be 11-4 for Australia. And in old times, one would say, oh, Australia's in for it now because of Sonic's law. But he's changed his law as the meta have changed of the game. Now any lead is dangerous, I think. Kind of seems that way.
Does Onyx Law have Zonix amendments? Or Zonix footnotes? It needs it by now?
I actually don't... See, I don't know. I don't even know if it's mentioned in his book. Like, if it's not mentioned in the book, then I would say it doesn't have any amendments.
Fair enough.
It's gonna be the A hit here. 2 from Ramp, 3 from Palace. And there's another player, CT.
One player. Yeah, they leave Soko unchecked, and it could have been a bit more troublesome, but New Zealand have actually done a pretty good job at holding down the CT. Ooh, nice shot. Sarah's going to respond 1-1 right back. Chicken Loaf still wanting to dish out some damage. Actually brings it down to a palatable 1 versus 2. is able to spot a couple heads. Now realize that she needs to make something happen fast. There's so little HP on Sarah. Luckily for the T's, there's no kit available either. Chicken Loaf realizes she needs to push it, but unfortunately there's a Glock waiting for her. 11-5, New Zealand. At least they can have that saving grace on the T side.
One thing I didn't like about the way New Zealand played that, so they realized there is another player, CT. So 3 of them decide to go after that player, CT, and leaving the bomb planter alone on site, just trusting that no one would try to go through the smoke land. And I don't think they actually realized that was what was happening. But I can just sit here and feeling that's probably not gonna work next time. Soko, on the other hand, she says, "Yeah, pistols. It's more than enough." Like watching these games, I just feel like I have to play more DM with pistols. Apparently, I need to up my pistol game.
We'll see if there's going to be any merit to Australia's pistol game, though. Tony coming in from behind. That flank's going to work out well. At least grants them a whole lot more information as well, but Barf is going to make sure that that threat is nipped in the bud, but Evelyn is still very relevant. First shot with the Deagle. Chip damage as well onto the player approaching from short. Switches over. Quite a few shots being missed now, but at least she's buying time. Has narrowed down the position as well, so her teammate can chime in very soon. Not guessing the right 50-50, but still catches Barf. About that pistol game. Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta be honest, I took a couple of matches with my friends yesterday after we finished here. And my pistols didn't do that. So, I don't know, it might be because I'm in Europe. That is not
working. It might
working.
be. I think it's definitely not a skill issue, it's a region issue maybe?
Yeah, I think so.
Evelyn though, didn't really have any trouble just racking up the kills. If she had a stat track, she'd be very happy with that, but unfortunately this game isn't on stat track or HLTV. It's a question of whether or not New Zealand can build up some momentum in this remaining 3-round margin, right? I think Australia have already sort of shown themselves to be the better team, but can't really call it just yet. Can't really call it. Obviously, if New Zealand end up losing this round and then they're on 2,400, like, do we really think there's a chance beyond that point? Probably not.
But then I'm gonna quote your favorite artist today, as he said, "Never say never."
I mean, favorite's a bit of a stretch.
Okay, but you mentioned him more than I did yesterday, because I didn't mention him at all. And you keep
you can't tell the
you
fans
kept bringing
that,
him
you know? Up. Leave me and the Beebs out of this, okay?
They have to figure out for themselves who said that. Oh, Sarah will actually find Artemis as well. But Evelyn is still unsure. Being trouble for them, but it seems like the bomb's rotating to A, and Evelyn is all for it. Joining up with Chicken Loaf.
Australia narrows it down to that 2
so
versus 1. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks so good. And then Evelyn and Chicken Loaf said no.
No,
Like,
absolutely
it
not.
was-
Just this single-handed destruction.
Yeah, like a 4v2. You should get the feeling, like, yeah, the T's they probably this is doable.
Yeah, every time it kind of feels
But-
like New Zealand get a tiny advantage. You know, they put something on the board. You start to see that conversation happening, and then no, Australia just putting their foot down, not allowing any shenanigans. Artemis though on middle, trained with that op. Shouldn't take too long for that B-side push to come through though. Unfortunately for them, they've got no armor, and Chicken Loaf is on the other end with an A1. Getting ready to rip them to shreds. They're about to meet Chicken Loaf right around the corner. She gets 1, 2, but just not the third, as Kimbop has already dropped. With that bomb being in an awkward position, 43 points of health, and players already knowing her position, and the Molotov as well. There is simply no chance she doesn't get cooked. Kill it with the cinematics, man. Like, don't have to show me the dead body, too.
Just in case you didn't realize what was happening. Does New Zealand stand a chance for the comeback, or do you think this is where we leave Mirage?
It's been such a landslide victory so far for Australia. I mean, obviously, you know, they've gone for the timeout, so you gotta root for them, but realistically speaking, there's a very good chance that this game ends super early. The good thing is, right, this first map was picked up by Australia. Next map, that's New Zealand's pick. Unfortunately, that would also mean that Australia start on the favorable side, so not really sure how that one's gonna roll out. Nice shot from Barf, catching both on middle. That short boost and underpass player, both immediately contested and defeated. But Coney is going to make sure that the numbers are still in their favor. Chicken Low's going above and beyond to try and get the advantage. Even runs away from the action. Swings right back to lower the HP of the AWP. And now the bomb has already made its way back to the B site. Shouldn't be too long before these numbers are quickly dialed in. Short plant for the AWP, but man, the HP is just so damn low on this player. Both of them doubling down on short. There's a Molotov, there's a smoke, flash, nade, and honestly, that nade could be so instrumental to making sure that they can defend from short. Now getting ready to move in. I love that smoke, giving them so much mobility, and now these are going to be unsure where to approach from. Kimbop loses her life.
Oh.
Sarah, that was a very important shot to hit, but she's going to turn for the wraparound. Soko, ooh, caught out in the air. And I do believe they do have the time. 16-5. Great retake on the 2 versus 2. And Australia are able to close it out 16-5. But of course, that is not just it yet. That was Australia's map pick. They started off on the T side, but they've shown us an incredible performance. You know, this is sort of what I was talking about when we headed into the game. When you've got local qualifiers, the competition is going to be so much harder because you get so much practice off the bat before you make it to the World Championship, before you make it to the online qualifiers for IESF. And I think that all that practice might be paying off, honestly.
Yeah, we could see a bit of a class difference, and then again, it's hard for us to say how comfortable New Zealand are with Mirage. Again, beforehand, it was more of a map that people be like, I can be kind of okay with playing it if you have strong riflers, but if you don't really have any strats or statistics ready, then it's gonna be hard, I gotta say.
Well, it's not over just yet for the girls from New Zealand, because there is still a chance at a second map, a chance to take it to the potential of a best of 3, right? Stay tuned. We'll be right back. We have the highlights ready from the previous map, so you can still have the tab open. Watch that while we return to you with the next game. Stay tuned.
In the heart of Iași, Romania, the world's top gamers have gathered for the ultimate showdown. IESF brings heart-stopping matches across a variety of gaming genres in an electrifying experience that celebrates the passion and dedication of esports athletes from around the globe. This is more than just a tournament. This is where champions are born, legends are made, and anything is possible.
Welcome back, everyone, to the IESF Asian Championship. We're about to go live with the second game of this best-of-3 series for the Oceanic Qualifiers very soon. Things have been pretty tough for Team New Zealand, to say the least. I mean, already straight out the gate, it was a landslide victory, 16-5 on Mirage for Team Australia. Now, Sophie, heading into the next map, I really want to know your thoughts on whether or not you think New Zealand can potentially push this one back.
Well, I will say Ancient is one of those maps where either you're alright with playing it, or usually you're very uncomfortable if it's not your main pick. So it's gonna be exciting to see what Australia bring to the table, and at the same time, people are leaning more towards actually choosing to start on T side. It's more of a switch between CT and T. So that could mean as well for New Zealand, if Australia decides to start on CT, that they might want to get to start on their favorable side. So it could be a bit of a wildcard, actually.
Yeah, honestly, the fact that they're starting on the they're not going to get to choose what side they start on, right? And they've already lost one map. That's definitely going to make things a whole lot harder. And I do think that Australia have the upper hand here, like straight off the gate. And obviously, we do get a chance to look at how those math statistics went. But does that even matter? Does that really even matter? 16-5, everybody's on roughly the same amount of kills. Chicken Loaf on 20 kills, still playing, still having the most kills technically. But honestly, that was just an entire team effort. It never really felt like any player was slacking. You know, we saw Evelyn with some incredible work over towards that ramp position when she was getting entries. We saw Coney with some great kills. We saw Soko hold B short like a monster. Chicken Loaf, obviously, you can't count her out because she simply had the highest frag. Artemis had some moments. Realistically speaking, there was never really a moment where we felt like anyone on Team Australia was lacking. Now, that can't be said for New Zealand because almost everyone was lacking. Yes, maybe you might look at the scoreboard and say, well, there's one player performing better than the others, but it was complete chaos. There wasn't really a moment where New Zealand, with the exception of those first 3 rounds that they were able to get, where they ever looked like they were even contesting the driver's seat. So that's a big red flag, heading into the next map. They gotta watch out for this.
Yeah, you have a point in that, and as you said, it was just a complete team performance for Australia, and we see that as well with the assist that they actually became, just a big part of the match as well. But we have Chicken Loaf as our MVP, and again, I wouldn't say there was an MVP on Australia here. It was the entire team just playing as one big unit, knowing how to do solo actions and knowing how to just help your teammates. So I know it's probably it's probably because she had the most kills, I would say, that she would be crowned the MVP. But overall, all of Australia, they were just having their A game. And the thing is, if all of your teammates are fragging a lot, then there's just a certain amount of kills you can get in a round, of course.
Yeah, basically, pretty one-sided affair overall. Never really felt like New Zealand ever contested it. And this is where I sort of talk about how Australia, they got quite a bit of a chance to practice. And realistically speaking, I know we bunched the Oceanic region together, but New Zealand, much smaller scene than Australia, right? Especially if you're talking about things like local events, that's going to be a completely different ballgame. And practically, the players on Australia, they have way longer tenures. Some of these players are, on the older side of CS players as well. I believe Soko is, I believe she's 30, 31 years old, something along those lines. So she's somebody that has a lot of experience. She's been playing for a very long time. I think same is the case for Artemis, if I'm not wrong. So you're looking at potentially players that sort of have that veteran experience going into it, right? And that they also have that bit of Australian competition to practice against versus New Zealand, where, it's a scene that is not really contested enough to the point where even qualifiers make sense. You generally have national qualifiers where there's, where there's roaring debate on who actually is the best team, but sometimes it's just a little too obvious, right? You just send the best players. You know who's the best, so you just send them.
Yeah, and I think you gotta tread carefully with saying older players. Just
on the older side is what I say, you know?
Yeah, I usually get a lot of smack when I try to say that people that are 30 are old. But I understand that in esports, of course, it's not the physical thing. Like, it's not because when you get older, you start running slower, but it's more about your stuff like your reaction time. Like, it's something you have to train so much if you want to keep it at the same level as when you were 18. So that's
I actually completely disagree with that, because I actually don't think like I don't think your reaction time and stuff is affected. Like, as long as you've just not been playing the game, but you could say that about like anyone that is younger as well, right? Like, if they're not playing the game, their reaction time is just going to be worse. Like, I mean, I kind of understand the idea of just like younger people having an easier time, like sort of having that neural plasticity to get better at things, right? But as far as CS is concerned, I even think that people can get better with age because of like how much calmer you feel in things like clutch situations and all that. Because some of like the big game moments that you often see, like even in bigger tournaments, are those situations where you're not really defined by like, okay, how good was this guy on aimbots? How good was this guy on aim map? It was more like, was this player able to maintain composure during a 3 versus 3 with the time ticking down, right? So like when I say older player, it's more like seeing them as a threat. Like, this person has been playing for a decade. Like, I'm worried about how good they're gonna be.
I get the feeling you haven't been casting a lot of old boy CS when you say that. I've seen the top, I've seen the bottom. I've casted some of the best old boys games. We actually had an old boys team going to the Danish championships one year. They came in 9th, I think. So yeah, we have some people. The people that's been pro their whole life, and when they stop like on the regular level and they decide to go over to this old boys, of course they're gonna keep it up. But the gut feeling for all the people I've been talking with is just how you have to adapt to, I'm not as good as I used to be, because something just changes, and usually it's also because you come to a new team, because you might not be the same age as everybody on your team. So if you say, yeah, I'm not going to be able to travel the world anymore and do that, like family stuff, all that. So you find some people at the same age as you that still want to compete, but at a lower level. And then you realize, I'm not as good as I was. And then some people find it hard. But that's not the case here. They're still fighting at the top level and are ready to take on Ancient here. New Zealand. It's your map pick. You start on the T side. Now you gotta show us why you were chosen.
Oh, Evelyn! Evelyn's about to be a beast in cave. The dualies finally reveal themselves, and they're gonna continue to sink their fangs into the players coming in on T side. Oh my goodness! Evelyn just does not stop the carnage. Taps to defuse, chicken loaf to defend, and there it is. Already straight off the bat. Australia showing us what they're made of.
And that's the thing I hate about Ancient, when you have this good idea. Yeah, I'm gonna push through cave, and then you forget to check.
Yeah, just forgot to check, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, like I either, like, if I check, then there's no one there. If I don't check, then they are there. So it's just hard. Evelyn.
Okay,
on
Evelyn.
A complete
First the
rampage.
dualies.
Got the. You gotta think about how much money the XM gives you. Like, it's better than an SMG. That's 800 per kill. Like. That's 2,400 she just made.
Hell yeah. Also, I'm pretty sure the kill reward might be 900. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 900. Yeah.
Is it 9?
Yeah, it's 900. Well,
see, that just shows I don't play the XM enough.
Well, it actually just strengthens your argument because instead of 2,400, that's 2,700 in the bag now. So that's you were just being modest.
Yeah.
Early kill collected in cave. Ooh, Soko making that Famas work like an A1. Gets 2. Katana falls as well. Now it comes down to Kimbop and Haven. Artemis waiting with the op. There it is. First kill, second as well. And she makes it look a little too easy. Now New Zealand back to sort of a similar situation as what we saw on Mirage, right? Not a whole lot of money. And a pretty significant round disadvantage.
And now we get to see what the upgraded pistols can do for New Zealand. We didn't really see that so much on Mirage. And see, it looked like it was just gonna be that fast B play, mainly to over ramp, but with the molly they had to pull the brake just a little bit. Don't want to waste that single smoke to go fast. But Coney is waiting on side, and now yeah, Evelyn still has the XM. So I think that just hurts in a different way, getting killed by a shotgun like that. They actually get the bomb down, like, and there's no way they can defend it, I know that. But that extra $800 is just gonna be golden for the next round. But look at the bank on Evelyn. Like, she's been harvesting.
Mm-hmm.
And she continues with it.
She's back on the shotgun.
Yeah, I think she just keeps it because then she can drop weapons to the others later on.
Mm-hmm.
Because I thought she would have more money, but then I realized, oh, she probably dropped the orb for Artemis because she is rich right now. But yeah, it's kind of fun with her being like the cave player. That's where they want to use it. Australia might be a bit too eager. Want to do some aggression, but seems like New Zealand has the idea. But
nice
Artemis
little angle from Artemis, and I think she has another opportunity here. Yeah, Evelyn just moves in. Absolute demon. Stud with the shotgun, 5-0. Australia, they're just running away with it. And obviously, like, New Zealand aren't going to be significantly economically threatened anymore because even when they buy down, they're still going to have a little bit to fall back onto. But realistically speaking, even with that max loss bonus, you're constantly just sort of grinding against a wall if you keep trying to buy up with the 3,400. So pretty significant lead right now for Australia, and I would not be surprised if it's strengthened even further. Evelyn still being a little bit of a troll with that XM. And it's a valid weapon on Ancient, so more power to her. Soko, though, playing very aggressively, and Donut is able to find 2, eventually trade it out, but just look at the amount of damage that's been dished out before that M4 will finally go down. Coney, in the meantime, moves in from behind, or rather rotates in from CT, kills a player in Donut, and the last person standing is only on 4 points of health, so that's already a conversation you don't want to have. Did they save Kimba from the nade by shooting her in the back with a shotgun?
Yeah.
Make sure you have that little bit of extra money.
See. Evelyn, she doesn't have like a skin or anything on her XM, right? I just don't understand why she keeps buying it instead of just like having Chicken Loaf drop it. Because it seems weird to me that she's buying like all the way down when she has teammates on like 13 and 10,000. But if you're feeling yourself, then like go for it. Coney is feeling herself right now. Artemis going for the White Peak. Finds the head-on to Kimbap. That's unnecessary. A body shot will do, but of course. And they're flashing.
I actually got worried there for a second because I thought that was a collateral.
Yeah, me too. And we finally get Evelyn under control, and Buff is ready for the push from Soko. And now we see the thing. Australia, they get a bit eager. They want to finish it. They saw what India did yesterday and thought, yeah, sure, we do that as well on their map pick. But you gotta play smart as well. But Chicken Loaf, yeah.
Is this a deathmatch server? Is that what Chicken Loaf has logged into?
I don't know. But yeah, you need. Like, it's okay if you want to play aggressive, if you want to make some pushes, but there has to be some kind of thought behind it. And the fact that you're sending Evelyn down ramp, just hiding behind the boxes with the XM, I'm not sure that's the right call. But of course, like, how would they know that they were boosting on the boxes? That's just not a position that's good for her. If they had just run past her, I would have said, oh, that's such a great play and well thought out, but it didn't work, so I can be critical. And Evelyn, she left the XM, she got she got a rifle. See, I'm scared now for New Zealand. She stopped trolling.
Yeah, I think she might have had enough of the shotgun spam.
Yeah. Gotta say, looks like we're working our way towards A, only keeping Buff.
This is surprisingly a pretty heavy setup for the A side, because generally a lot of people have been playing it for the retake very recently. But they're in a position where they can send over a rotation from Artemis as well and basically make it a 3-on-3 fight over on the A side. Now, Chicken Loaf will be the first point of contact as they start moving in. There it is, first spray down. Flashbang to allow for the re-peek as well. Barf now coming in from Donut will be that second prong, but are they going to check for her? Absolutely not. Instantly traded out. Barf, good for 2. Artemis needs to watch out for the attention coming in from Donut. But she goes for a no-scope. And that just leaves Katana switching over to the Deagle to get up close and personal, get dirty in it. But Evelyn is good for the refrag. Artemis, man, what a quick no-scope on the Donut player.
And I love when you hear the small ticks in the chat. Usually someone saying...
Nice shot, N1, empty, GG, easy.
Yeah, all that stuff. And that's the thing, like, you can be behind and you can still like recognize when the others are just being good. And like, I feel like that's a good kind of sportsmanship. It's not like a football player is gonna go to the striker and say, yeah, that was a pretty cool goal, man. Oh, but they take the mid control, but Chicken Loaf, she pushed through A main. And now, yeah, you have the control towards CT spawn, but what are you gonna do with it? You are sandwiched in, and not the kind of sandwich. This is like the sandwich with the end pieces from the bread.
Oh.
You know, when you buy a bag of of a sliced bread, and then the heel
The
from
top
either
and
side
bottom.
of the bread. Yeah,
It's called the brokey sandwich.
that's not.
And not brokey the CS player, brokey as in broke. As in having no
Yeah.
money.
I gotta say, if that was what Brokey's eating, then
Then sign me the hell up.
yeah, I gotta say, then that might be the diet we need to start doing.
Man, dieting for CS is such a, or like esports in general is such a meme. Like you have players on like 4,000 elo eating Doritos and Mountain Dew every single day, and then you have some people taking care of their health meticulously, sitting on like 500 elo. A miss. Great opener, uncontested, untraded.
And yeah, like Haven, she gets it equalized, but she goes down to 4 points of health. And in the meantime, Coney will find her a teammate in Bath. And yeah, I was about to say, we're just chilling over donut. That's all the talk about junk food. The observer's like, oh, you want junk here? Donuts. And now we see the more kind of retake situation, but oh, she actually misses the shot. Coney is here as well. And we'll
Honestly,
end it.
this is not really much of a contest, right? I mean, I can mince words all I want, but Australia has just shown that they are by far the better team already. I really don't see many cases where New Zealand tries and succeeds at coming back. I mean, sure, you could maybe make the argument that the CT side is very difficult, but come on. Double digits before you can even break one round? This is about as bad as the India versus Sri Lanka game.
And now Evelyn, she got the big shotgun. They finally get Chicken Loaf under control. Like, she's been punished for wanting to be aggressive, but Soko is still here, so doesn't really help that much in the end. It's still Australia territory.
You see the New Zealanders still trying to be very careful with how they're playing, but fortunately that hasn't really yielded any dividends just yet. Honestly, there's struggle on New Zealand from basically every component about CS, right? They don't really have the aim budget to contest Australia. I'm gonna have to hold that thought for a second. I think this op might be in trouble. There's two players speaking into Evelyn. Wants to repeat, barely spots a shoulder and still able to connect. Now, New Zealand don't really have any decisive strategies, right? And because of the fact that they're playing relatively dispersed and passive, they're allowing Australia to sort of proceed with their own game plan. We've seen Artemis get very aggressive and ramp many times around. We've seen Evelyn just get away with very comfortable XM plays, which she realistically shouldn't get if there's flashes in place, if there's mollies in place, if every clearance is a little bit better. Now you can tell that Australia is so comfortable, they're just sort of cruising with that double op setup. I really like this from New Zealand, though. They're trying to quicken up the pace, at least try to put the pressure on Donut. Able to get that first kill, but now the question is whether or not they're going to feel lost as they start to get some control. Rotations coming in from Red Room. I'm not sure if Coney's going to be joining them very soon because they're still leaving 2 for 2 on each site. Actually, a 2-1-1 setup, leaving one player in Red Room. So slightly biased towards the A site. Is that conversion going to happen from New Zealand?
It would have to be now, I gotta say. But Coney... Yeah.
No.
She has different plans.
They still do have the
advantage
numbers
once again.
advantage, so maybe we can still talk.
Yeah,
but Chicken Loaf, she's been so good on those flanks, and she will still continue to be a menace. Bomb is making its way to B, though, so at least a chance at a bomb plant. What? No, no, Artemis, not like this. What a quick scope, and the deagle shot to collect as well. Yeah, they're just on a different level.
Yeah, I was about to say, so Artemis, are you gonna wait for your teammate to come help you with the retake? And she was like, yeah, I think I got this. That's just nasty. We got the rifles, we got the util, we got the AWP on Sarah. What are New Zealand gonna do? Well, that's not what I had in mind. They are just playing so aggressively, Australia.
It's really difficult to even dissect like strats or anything because New Zealand, you know, they're playing very passively. They're getting completely pushed by Australia. And even in times where they're arguably in better positions, they're just getting completely out-aimed. So, not really a whole lot of rocket science behind this. There's no second layer of CS knowledge that I can unveil. At least none that wouldn't be pretentious.
We've seen before what timeouts have done for New Zealand, but I gotta say my hopes aren't that high. That second kill from Evelyn actually going through the wall, and Coney just on a complete massacre in Red Room. It's just... it's hard looking at. Oh, Artemis! Actually gonna be caught out, not ready for the quick push, but Evelyn is here and ready, but Kimbap will make it a 1-on-2. Has the bomb, has the possibility. Oh, yeah. I gotta say.
Complete slam dunk on all accounts.
Yeah, her only chance was if she had put the smoke like on right side of the pillar and then like planted like kind of out the corner so she couldn't be shot from cave, and you couldn't be sure when the smoke she was planting, she might have gotten the bomb down, but
at that point you're just grasping at straws, right? Like there's
exactly.
It's nothing to suggest that they would have won the round otherwise. New Zealand, one last honest shot at it. Potentially going to end up with 0 rounds. I mean, it would be kind of a troll to stop the 15-0 from happening on the last round. I'd respect that. Chicken Loaf should be the first point of contact as they start to aggress towards A site. Only one prong left all the way in B, but other than that, this double boost setup, this is going to catch them by surprise for sure. Chicken Loaf starts firing off. Got a teammate as well. Why are they not expecting that second player? There we go. Flick from Haven. Good stuff. But Evelyn's got the perfect weapon for this. She's got the AUG that she can comfortably spam with. That's quite a bit of damage on the second player trying to cross over as well. But in a 2 versus 2, it's quite doable. Barf coming in from the backlines, though, entirely telegraphed. Her footsteps are there. And Team Australia, 15-0. Still the piss round to go, but we really, no.
You're not believing in the comeback? That's kind of pessimistic, don't you think?
I mean, Australia does have, like, very dangerous spiders, right? So, like, if one of those spiders, like, bit an Ethernet cord for some of the players, maybe.
Yeah, one of my friends said his girlfriend's rabbit, like, bit over every cord he owns. So, like, the only cords that are still intact are, like, his computer and his mouse. Like, everything else is destroyed. And she didn't like his idea about having rabbit stew for dinner.
I had my computer shut off once because my duck tripped over my cables. Yeah, that's one for the broadcast. Parasides doing a little bit of an Evelyn cosplay with these dualies. 4 versus 3. He's still trying to fight back. Sarah actually doing quite a bit of damage. Just Coney remaining. New Zealand getting ready for the troll. Getting the piss around. I love it. At least stop that 16-0.
Yeah, so now it's actually okay to lose the match because you got at least one round.
Love how Australia just want to be done with this. Just instantly buying into Galils. They're like, yeah, let's just throw everything at the wall, see what sticks.
So I think Sarah's side is doing like a full-on cosplay right now. She got the XM as well.
Australia has the opener. Sarah. That XM is just so damn powerful in that position. Coney through the smoke gets a refrag as well, but with Artemis opening up A side, this surely, or rather B side, this surely has to be a sign of the times. The start of the end.
Yeah, and in the meantime, the bomb's going towards A.
Yeah, they're not even close to it. By the time they get there, 20 seconds have already probably ticked down, so it was just a piss around. Just a piss around, really. Katana still wanted to delay the inevitable. He is going to walk into Coney's crosshairs, though, and it should be GG from there. Australia able to close it out 16-1. No contest whatsoever. Again, this is similar to the game we saw India versus Sri Lanka, right? That was 16-3 and 16-0. This was 16-3 and 16 0, but 16-1. So,
oh no,
4 rounds
Mirage
in total
was
across 2 maps.
5.
What?
No,
wait, Mirage was 16-5?
It was 16-5. It was an 11th half.
I'm sorry, I just I couldn't tell the difference. The map lasted like 3 seconds.
Yeah, but at the same time, 6 rounds on 2 maps is not quite enough, I would say. So yeah, we just saw that kind of class difference we were talking about, like a team going through a qualifier and a team that was just picked as being the best they had to offer. And then again, how much practice have you put in? I would say if you go through that qualifier and beat out all the other teams and you're not prepping correctly for it, then it seems like you're not taking it seriously. Where when you just pick for it, it can be more like, well, got nothing to lose. We're just happy to be here. We're happy to show what we can do. And sadly, it wasn't quite that much that New Zealand could show today.
Yeah, honestly, Australia were just a class apart. They were a completely different caliber of team. And this is what I'm really excited about, you know? A lot of the times in these online qualifiers, you're gonna have a lot of higher-seeded teams go up against lower-seeded teams, or, like, just generally face a lot of one-sided matches. But when it actually goes to that offline qualifiers, it's gonna be the Gamers8 tournament in Saudi Arabia, that will be very exciting, because then we're going to see some of the talents from India, you know, like we had Sway with the no scopes yesterday. We're going to see some of the talents from India go up against some of these teams, you know. We had some incredible players on the Kazakhstani team as well, which is going to be the next match, by the way. But yeah, we had some of the Kazakhstani talents that we were really looking forward to watching. And when they actually butt heads against each other, that's where it's going to be really fun to watch.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to, getting to see all these yeah. And I kind of said something where I could sound kind of rude, but it's like seeing the better teams going up against each other, so I can get a feeling of where the Asian scene, the Asian Oceanic scene is at, because I've had 2 matches here that were just very one-sided, so I need to see those good teams come up against some other better teams, just to get that range of, okay, so where are we actually when they get that kind of competition, and when it's not just they are on a totally different level on the day.
Yeah, the thing is, right, when you're using teams as a yardstick, you need to have an understanding of where a team actually is. Like, we need to have some sort of metric of what caliber a team is before we can use them to then compare other teams, right? We just don't have that frame of reference just yet. So, yeah, I think it's going to be very exciting to see how those better teams actually stack up against each other when they do get the opportunity to. I mean, we've had some great teams qualify already, right? And I'm quite happy to see the state that the qualifications are in. Yes, they did get one-sided, but we know for a fact, or at least I get the feeling that some of these teams are pretty high caliber, especially Team India. You know, they because I actually watched some of their online their local qualifiers as well for the IESF, because they had to go through qualifiers to be selected. Those were so hotly contested that you could kind of see the level they're at before they even made it to these IESF online qualifiers. So I'm pretty excited to see them.
Yeah, and I'm already looking forward to it, and that's like way out in the future. But when we're going to Romania and seeing all of the best teams competing out there, I really want to see just the different regions competing against each other, because that's usually just in ESL, in the ESL Impact finals, that we actually get to see the different regions of women get to compete against each other. So I think it's going to be so great in August when we get the best of the best in Romania fighting it out against each other, and we can really get a feel of just where the scene is at the moment. Where is it advancing more than others? Where should you maybe put some more focus, try to make better ways for them to practice, I think.
Yeah, I mean, you know, generally, I agree with that sentiment. Yes, like, I mean, we definitely need to have like sort of more opportunities for these players to go up against each other before we can sort of figure out their caliber. You know, this is sort of the part of the stream where we generally talk about stats. Stats. Well, who was performing this and that, but does that really matter in a 16-to-1? Like, I think there was actually one of the players from Australia that was just going above and beyond. I think it was Evelyn that was just playing like a complete madman, but I'm gonna have to wait to find that out.
Yeah, I gotta say, Evelyn, she was all over the map, and no matter what weapon she had, if she bought the dualies, if she bought the Axem, if she had the A1S, if she got the AWP, like, she didn't miss any shots. And she could be anywhere on site. And that's kind of the same feeling we get from the stats. Evelyn top fragging out 24-7. So not only did she kill everything she saw, she really passed away herself. So, but again, it was a team performance. Evelyn might have just been more ahead and just making a way for herself, and a lot of the times it just came in the direction she was. But we have to give lots of credits to Chicken Loaf just being that aggressive flank, usually going out through the A main and taking them from behind in the middle. Like, she did that so many rounds. So, and just everybody on the team again, whereas this was a very good team performance, and we just kind of said we could see, yeah, like Soko with 7 assists. Like, yeah, she might only have 12 kills, but she still like almost killed 7 people. So, but I think we have a head-to-head ready as well.
Obviously, no contest here. 82 eliminations to the 40. Yeah, it's just complete bloodbath. And you're totally right about that. Like, about the fact that everybody sort of had that good performance on Australia, right? We saw Artemis with some incredible op plays. We saw Evelyn with the dualies, the XM, the 8OEP. She's basically like, she's the weapons dealer, you know. And Chicken Loaf had so many rounds where she came in from behind. Some of the rounds where New Zealand could have actually had some rounds to put on the board. Maybe they could have gotten some momentum off of it. I don't think they were ever in the position where they would have won, but even if they wanted to rack up more rounds, Chicken Loaf put an absolute stop to it.
Yeah, there was just never really a chance for New Zealand to get into this, I gotta say. So, yeah, the complete team experience. And with that said, it means Australia will be joining the rest of the qualified teams for the Gamers8 IESF Asian Championship. So of course we have Saudi Arabia, the host country, so they get a free ticket there. Then we have Hong Kong from the Southeast Asia region. We saw India make their way through yesterday with the 16-3, 16-0, and then Australia today with 16-5, 16-1. So I'm gonna be very excited to see in India and Australia what they can do, because you've talked Hong Kong up quite a bit. We've talked them up
honestly,
quite a bit, so I want to see it.
Yeah, there's honestly quite a few really incredible teams there, especially Hong Kong. I'm very curious to see how Hong Kong is going to play on that offline qualifiers, because honestly, they were sort of the dark horse of the team, and they performed incredibly well. So there is still one more qualification slot to go. That is the Central Asian slot, which was contested between Uzbekistan, Iraq, Kyrgyzstan and Kazakhstan. There is still one more match to go, Kazakhstan versus Kyrgyzstan, and that is the match that is going to be streamed next. So, you know, there's still a bit of a break before that match is going to be live. So, you know, you should maybe keep that maybe tune into the stream in just a little bit. Maybe take a walk outside, take a little bit of a break from all this CS action. I know it's been a long few days if you've been tuning into most of the action on this tournament. So, yeah, before that last game, short break, but we do have the highlights ready for you if you do want to get a quick recap of that match. I mean, that match was pretty short, but still, there were quite a few sweet highlights in it. Stay tuned. We'll be back in a while. Curtains? Are the curtains not being rolled?